And today we're going to talk about adding more integers. Means like when we say integers, it's a positive and negative numbers. Like you can also add negative numbers. So that kind of adding, okay? And you will have a DIN and exit ticket. So I hope you already finished the DIN, because the expectation is every time when you join a Zoom meeting, so the first thing is you need to find today's lesson notes, class notes, and I apologize. Okay, now we're good. So the first thing is you need to find today's class notes and click the slides. This is the class notes. And once you get the class notes, this third slide is the DIN, okay? So now today's objective is I can model means I can show you on the number line by using horizontal arrows when I add integers. The second objective is I can recognize the length of an arrow on the number line is the absolute value of the integer. So whenever you see arrow on the number line, so you can recognize that the length of the arrow is absolute value of that number, okay? And let's start the lesson with this real world example. So let me grab my text box, okay? So suppose you receive $10 from your grandmother for your birthday, and you spent $4 on snacks. Using addition, how would you write an equation to represent the situation? So when you, like all the time, when you see a word problem, always pay attention to keywords, like in front of the numbers. Most of the time you will see the verbs or any kind of indication that you can make action with these numbers. So receiving $10 means, that means you're having a $10, means it's positive. If you like think reasoning, yeah. So, and spending means you're losing money. So you won't have four more dollars. You spent $4 means, so it's a -4. And you're adding these two numbers. This is how you can write an equation for this problem, for this situation, okay? And now, once you have an equation like this, the second thing is you need to model it. Model it means like you need to show us how to do on a number line. If you remember from yesterday, you always need to pay attention to the first number, right? And first number is 10, which means starting at 0, always you need to start at 0. That's the key point. And then you need to go to 10 because it's a positive 10. You need to find a 10, and I make my first arrow. I know in the last class, I show you the arrow like one by one steps. But if you can know that what is 10, what is the 10th step, you can directly go to that number. That's the another way you can model it on a number line, okay? And then the second number is -4, means whatever you left on the first arrow, you left at 10, you're gonna start this time to find like a 4, -4. So because if it's a negative number, you need to go 4 steps to the backward. So first step would be right here, right? And we told it like whenever you have a final destination, you need to circle it, and that number will be your result, okay? So this is how you can model using a number line when you have a addition of integers. And then, so we can move on. So I know on the last time I showed you very fast, but in case if you have like a confusion about what kind of steps I need to follow, I come up with these steps. If you follow these steps, you always will get the right result for adding integers, okay? So for example, on the first step, it says place the tail of the arrow on 0. You always start with 0. So you're going to place the dot or the tail of the arrow at 0. And then draw arrow 2 units to the left. The reason why you need to go 2 units to the left, the first number is -2. So you're going to go 2 units to the left. So this is where I end. It's -2. and then stop at -2. I stopped at -2. The direction of the arrow is to the left. The reason why you need to go left, the sign of in front of the number is a negative sign, okay? Since you're counting down from 0. Starting the next arrow at the end of the first arrow. At the end of the first arrow is -2 or -2, yes. So you're gonna, this time you're gonna start at, let me get another color. So you're gonna start this time at -2 and draw the second arrow 3 units to the right, because your second number is 3 and in front of the sign of the in front of the number is plus, means you need to go to the right. That's why you need to go right, and counting up means to right. So 1, 2, is this a 3? Yep. Okay, I tried to use my visuals. Okay, so this is your final destination. Stop at 1 and circle the number. I did it. The second arrow ends to indicate the ending value. So the result of this addition, so if you add -2 with 3, you ended up 1. Okay, so this is the one way. I know this slide will be in your Google Classroom. Whenever you feel that I don't remember the steps, I don't know what to do, you just need to follow like these steps and you'll end up always on the right result. Okay, and I'm going to show you one more. This time I'll go a little bit faster. So let's go on the next slide. So 3 plus -2, okay? And so place the tail of the arrow on 0. You always start at 0. I'm going to place the tail of the arrow at 0. Now draw 3 units to the right, because my first number is 3 and it's +3, which means I need to go 3 units to the right and I need to stop at 3. Okay? The direction of the arrow is right because I'm counting up, means I'm counting to the right side. Okay, hopefully I can write this like that you can read it. It's very hard using a mouse when you write something on the screen. Okay, so the next step is start the next arrow at the end of the first arrow, or you need to start at 3. But let me pick this time because I'm doing the second action. So you're going to start at 3. At the end of the first arrow, so this is at the end of the first arrow, and draw the second arrow. How many units? Second number is 2 or -2, so 2 units to the left, because in front of the 2 there is a negative sign. You're not paying attention like this sign. You always pay attention right in front of the number. So this is the first sign that you need to pay attention. So it's negative, so that's why you need to go back like this. So 2 step back or 2 step left, and your final destination is 1, so you need to circle that 1. Okay, stop at 1 and circle the number. I did it, so the result will be 1 again. So this is how you can add 2 integers using number line. Okay, this is how you can model it. This is how you can see it visually. What's going on with like when you add negative numbers. And let's clear out and let's see what we have on the next slide. So on the next slide, we have, it's still a I do part, by the way. So when we start in a we do, we're going to start doing together. Okay. How does absolute value determine the arrow length for -2? How does absolute value determine the arrow length for -2? So you need to locate the -2 and 0 for the absolute value. If you still remember those, you need to locate them. This is -2 and this is 0, because when you talk about the absolute value of number, you always find that number and 0, and you need to pay attention what is the distance between 2 numbers. So as you see, it's just the 2 units. Okay, use the number line to provide your support your answer. So I just did it. So you need to locate that number and always 0, and see how many units, how many blocks in there. So it's a 2 blocks. That means absolute value of -2 is 2 blocks. And how does absolute value determine the arrow length for 3? It's the same thing. You're going to locate 3 and you're going to locate 0. And if you make an arrow or if you make a line like this, so pay attention how many blocks like between 0 and 3. It's a 3 blocks. So the value will be 3. Okay, so this is how we can provide support our answer using number line. So without the number line again, so describe how the absolute value helps to represent -10. It's you can describe in this way, saying I'm going to use just a shortcut because the mathematical way. Let me. So these straight brackets were absolute value, right? Inside of that, I need to put -10. So which means it's a always becomes positive, which means 10 units from 0. So this is how you can describe it, like without using a number line, okay? And so this is just a review how it looks like absolute value parentheses. And let's see what we have on the next slide. So this is a together time now. When I ask a question, hybrid kids, like if you want to participate, you can raise your hand or you can even type in a chat box. I know some of you in the Zoom session, okay? So my question is, now this time we're not gonna follow those steps. I'm trying to test you guys, like if you still remember some of those steps. So when you see this problem like this, -6 and 4, what is the number one? What do we need to do? Online kids, you guys can type in the chat box. Yes.
Can I plug in my Chrome, please? I'm trying to ask you.
I'll help you. Okay. You have?
Yeah. You take away 6 from 4.
Your takeaways. So what was
you add 6 plus 4, but 6 is negative, so you have to take away from 4.
Okay. So yes, Jonathan.
You go 6 to the left.
6 step to the left. From where?
From 0.
So from 0. That was the like always starting at 0, and then the first number is -6. So you need to go till -6. So this is the number 1 step. So what is the number 2 step?
Or you go to the right.
Okay. From where and till which point?
You go from -6 to -7.
-6 till -4? No.
No, -6 to -2.
-6 to -2. Okay. So, and starting at 6, thank you, Jonathan. And you need to go 4 step, you said, to the right, right? Where should I stop? -2. Okay, perfect. And at the end, you need to circle it, right? So that will be your result. So your result is -2. And so you got it now. You want to try one more? So for this example, what is the number 1 step? 3, okay. So, but you need to draw an arrow from where?
3 to 0.
Yes.
0 to 3.
0 to 3. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go faster this time. And then what is the second step?
-8.
Okay. From where to where? Which point?
From 0 to -8.
Do you agree?
From 8 to
Do you agree, Jonathan?
3 to -5.
3 to -5. So whenever on the second step, you always start with whatever you left on the first arrow. This is the end of the first arrow. So you're going to go 8 units back. And as you said, -5, right? So this is your final destination. So always starting with whatever you left on the first arrow. So if there is a third number, so you're going to start now this time at -5, right? You go like this, like back and forth and back and forth, based on the number, the value of that number. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a bit of different question. Are you ready? Here we go. So in this question, but in this question, we have a model over here, but this time we need to write it down that equation. So what will be my first number plus what will be my second number plus, is there a third number?
Yeah.
Okay. So what will be my third number? Yes, Jonathan.
-5 plus -2 plus 3.
Are you sure it's a -5?
No, it's
5.
Yes. So because of the arrow goes right? I'm going to use different colors to show you. So let me use the brown. So this is the 5, and this is my first card. The reason why you need to put the 5, because the number that starts at 0, that's your first number, okay? The arrow that starts at 0, that's your first number. And the second one is, let me use a green. So what is the second number? You said, I missed you. -2, because first arrow ends at at 5, and the second arrow starts at 5. So this is your second number. Whatever the first arrow ends, the second arrow starts, that point is your second number. So it's going to be -2, and the last arrow is starting at the end of the first second arrow, so which means it's 3, right? Okay. Okay. Easy, right? Yeah, we will get on this one. Okay. So what 3 cards are represented in this model? How did you know? What might be your answer for this one? So we know the 3 numbers. So 5, -2, 3, right? In this model. And how do you know that? Yes, Jonathan?
Because all 3 numbers are expressed with arrows.
All 3 numbers? Said?
Are expressed with arrows. Like they're above the arrows. It says how many they are above the arrows.
Okay, can I rephrase what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so all 3 numbers, all 3 arrows are kind of connected, right? One arrow starts at the other arrows like at the end of the arrow. For example, -2 arrow starts at end of the 5 arrow, right? So all 3 numbers or all 3 arrows related to each other. For example, I'm going to go with, for example, second arrow starts at the end of the first arrow. And you can say for other one too, okay? Can you make a connection between, so how can you make a connection between 6 and with this model?
Oh yeah, it equals 6.
Yeah, because?
Because -2, so 5 plus -2 equals 3, and then yeah, equals 3, and then
3 plus.
Are we doing number 1? Or are we still doing
We're doing number 3.
number 3?
Yes.
I thought you were still doing number 1 because you were trying to go on it.
So the question is like, I know if you go in like a mathematical way, like 5 plus -2 is 3, as you said, and 3 plus 3 is 6. Yes, it is a 6. But the question is the result of 6 and how the result of this model, how they connected each other. So what might be the answer for this one? Because last arrow ending where? At 6. So this is how they related, okay? So whatever the last arrow ends, that means your result. And also if you like check the math, it's also 6. This is how they related. Because if they're not matching, by the way, you're not going to end up the same result. If you're ending up the same result, that means you're doing right. Okay? And would the sum change if they change the order? So in the addition, if you flip the orders, do the result change or not?
Yeah.
Do you remember the commutative property from 2 class before?
Same numbers is different.
Order. Yeah. So when you add numbers, so that means not changing. It will be the same result. But you can look this. So let's say if you reason in this way, -2 means like you borrow $2 from your friend, and then you gave back to your friend $3, and then you gave back again like $5. How many dollars you gave back to your friend? 6. So that means like result is the same thing. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's only for addition, by the way. Don't forget it. So for addition, doesn't matter order. You will get the same result. Would the diagram change? So how? No, it's not. So that's why we don't have to show the diagram. Okay. And next thing. Next thing. Okay, I need a volunteer this time. So we have a word problem, and I want you to help me out on this one. Who want to be a volunteer? You? Juniel? Okay. Okay, read it first. Read it first.
David and Victoria are playing in the integer cards and game. Dave drew 3 cards, -6, 12, and -4. What is the sum of the cards in his hand? And his hand? Model your answer on the number line below.
Okay, so tell me, what do I need to do first?
-6. Well, that's the first one. No, 0, 0.
Uh-huh. Okay, what is the second step?
Well, -6 is 12. Well, not 12.
Not 12, but
To 6.
yes. Wow, you're very fast. Okay, what is the last one?
-1. Yeah,
6 to
2.
2. Okay, here we go. You're very fast. I like it. Okay, so who wants to be volunteer on the next one? Yes, Jonathan.
In my integer card game, you drew cards 2, 8, and -11. Your partner gave you a 7 from his hand.
Mhm.
What's your total?
You gave you 7 from his hand. What's your total? Okay, so that means you have how many numbers, Jonathan?
4.
Okay, what is, Jonathan, what is the first step I need to do? Tell me.
Go 2 to the right,
From where?
from 0.
Okay, Jonathan. And what is the next step?
Go 8 to the right from 2.
Okay. Well, so where should I stop? Okay. And what is next?
You go to left 11 to then -1.
Okay. Like this. I'm flying, 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 and I'm stopping here. Okay. Okay.
And then you go 7 to the right, which is 6, which ends at 6.
Okay. Oops. Here, right?
How many numbers do you get?
So at first hand, there is a 3 numbers, but his partner gave him like card 7. So that's why it's a 4. So you always like follow that steps, okay? Like flying back and forth based on the number you have. If it's positive, you're moving like right. If it's negative, you're moving backward. So you need to be very careful with counting those steps, okay? So what card would you need to get your score back to 0? Okay, your result is 6, Jonathan. What do you need to get 0? Yes, -6. Perfect. Okay, you got it, guys. I'm so glad. Yeah, and okay, so there is a no numbers. This is the last one. Who wants to be volunteer other than Jonathan this time? Morales? Okay, you want to be? So you have this model now. So what is your first card? What is your second card? What is your third card?
0.
Are you sure?
84.
Okay, change the 0 to like 6.
0 to 6 instead.
So you said what? 0 to?
6. And then the plus to the like 8.
Plus to the 8. Okay, then. That's it. Okay, my question is, pay attention to this arrow. Which arrow starts at 0? This one, middle one, bottom one. No, which one starts at 0? Yes, Mutaz? Bottom one. Okay, so that means what number do you need to write it down for the first one? Yes, Jonathan? 9. So the first number has to be 9. So what is your second number? Okay. Yes, Jonathan?
-9.
-9. Okay. Because the reason why you said -9 is you started at the end of the first arrow, right? Last one? Yes, Juniel. You said, yeah, it is. So last card is 5. And also, like, if you pay attention, the arrows, like both arrows are starting at 0. So it doesn't matter if you start with 5, it doesn't matter if you start with 9, okay? By the way, you cannot start with 5. It's because there is no other arrows are starting at the end of the, this arrow. So which means you guys did the right way, okay? Perfect. Thank you so much. And that's it. Let's see. So today you don't have any assignments. It's just a reminder, guys. In the Google Classroom, make sure before you leave the school, the online students are, if you're doing at home, please make sure you're turning in like before the midnight. So there is a 3 assignments with it for this week, like B1, B4, and C3 on the IXL, okay? Try your best, and the expectation was you need to get closer as best as you can to 70, and then just turn in your assignment on the Google Classroom, okay? So there is a new assignment. It's just making up everything in case if you're missing one of these, okay? And then, so this is the end of the classroom, guys. Online students can leave after you finish your exit ticket.